Okay. I think, are we on live? Can everybody see us? Can somebody put a thumbs up, please? Yes. I can see Dr. Neelam Gada, Dr. Harshad, Udeshi, Avnash, Akash Virji. Everybody is here. Good morning, everybody. Can you all see us? Can you put a thumbs up? Akash Virji, I see a thumbs up. So I take it that you all can listen to us. Exactly? Yes. So today we are starting with this session. Today we are starting with this session, Freedom from Addictions. We know what started this off. We lost a very talented, good-hearted youth, Sushant Singh Rajput, and that made us so aware that with or without your knowledge, you can be drugged. And that made us so alive to this issue. And then we became so aware about what is happening in the world. Though many people have experienced it at home, now this made us come very close to the issue. I think, Dr. Lucky, can you just put yourself on mute until I talk so that your voice comes? Yeah, outside noise is coming.
Hello.
If you can mute yourself, only when I call you, yeah, because outside noise. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. Uh, you know how Navratri festival is there. So Navratri festival is taking a place around his house, and so there is a lot of disturbance. So our guest, I requested him to go on mute. So when he begins to talk, then we will put on a mute. I can see Varun Kapur, the owner of this channel. He's also here. Thank you so much. I can see Ushma also here. So let me introduce the guest of the day, Dr. Lucky Kasat. He is also Lakshman Kasat. You know what Lakshman is known for? Lakshman is known for his commitment, his devotion, his vigil, the vigil he used to keep. And I think he's that kind of person. I have seen him active in Rotary, doing so many activities and carrying out huge projects with lot of devotion. He is a consulting pediatric surgeon, and he is a motivational speaker. I think that word is not sufficient to talk about me. He's an inspirational speaker. About 1250 talks he has given all over the world, with more than 500 people in his audiences many times. And he's also a corporate trainer, counselor, and anti drugs campaigner. A personal experience which he will share with you later, made him realize that this is something very important we cannot ignore. So that is why, even though he is very busy as a pediatrician and he has got many achievements to his credit, he thought he must take this up. So let me share with you his credentials as a doctor. Consultant pediatric and neonatal surgeon for the last 22 years at Jupiter Kaushalya Hospital, Thane, Mumbai. He operates on children from day 1 to 18 years. Distinction of winning the highly prestigious Times of India Young Achiever Award in Pediatric Surgery in 2018 out of 250 nominations. He also featured in the prestigious national magazine India Today, The Outlook, and Times Now, leading 10 doctors of 2022. Awarded the prestigious Dynamic Social Leader Award 2022 by the Governor of Maharashtra, Honorable Bhagat Singh Koshyari. Then he operated the rarest case of fetus in fetus, a surgery on a 2-month-old girl who had one more baby inside her abdomen. I just can't believe it. It was covered on TV news channels, 6 TV news channels, and 18 newspapers, including Times of India. Only 9 such cases reported in India and 92 in the whole world. That kind of complicated surgeries he has handled. He has operated on the largest of ovarian cyst in India in the smallest patient, that is just 10 hours old child born with that ovarian cyst. And this was also covered in Times of India. He also operated on the largest appendix in children of India, 7 inches and 1.5 inches, and this was also covered in the newspaper. He opened a breast milk bank at Rajiv Gandhi Medical College, Thane in 2012. He gave a whopping 11,180 free typhoid and rubella vaccines in 29 camps worth 1 crore. He initiated Project Sutta Pranada, which in Sanskrit means saving a child's life, wherein 140 pediatric surgeries were done by him by raising donations of 82 lakhs with additional subsidy by hospital of about 65 lakhs for the families. He founded and led free heart surgery for children since 2014 through his Rotary Club. He facilitated 295 free children heart surgeries at Jupiter Hospital, Thane, along with Dr. Srinivas. Personally led a Rotary Global Grant project of 31 lakhs for 4,300 PPE kit donations to 4 hospitals in Thane within 30 days. He personally donated 2.5 lakhs for it. And he led donations of 994 kgs of ration, 2,900, 7,900 food packets, and I am not going into his hobbies. They extend from numismatism, stamp collection, handwriting analysis, you name it, and he's there. So I would now start over with the conversation with him because I know very well all of you are eager to talk to him, learn from him what exactly is his take on topic. So over to you. What is on top of your mind before I ask the questions? What is it that you want to share with the audience first on a one-on-one level? Then we'll start with the questions.
Thank you, Girija, for the warm introduction, and good evening and warm greetings to each one of you who is logged in. First of all, I'd like to convey that tomorrow, 2nd of October, is India's National Anti-Drug Addiction Day. So it has been recently introduced, and 2nd of October was chosen because we all know Mahatma Gandhi birth anniversary is there, and it gels well with the fundamentals of what he taught us. So with this opening, I would request you to please carry it further.
Thank you. Doctor, while I was talking to you, I was so impressed when you said that as a doctor, you expected that you will be able to recognize if there is any aberration in behavior, and you came across a friend who was very close to you and was you were very involved and concerned about him and impressed with him, and a youth who got involved with drugs, and it was at a later stage that you came to realize that he was addicted to drugs, and that is what made you realize that you should get into this and seriously consider campaigning so that people become aware of it, right? So
Yeah.
how do people get into the habit of substance use? In simple words, how do they become addicts?
Okay. How do people get into the habit of substance abuse? So, first thing we need to know is there are few risk factors which lead into this habit. And you'll be surprised to know that the major risk factor is a genetic predisposition. We are genetically inclined to become addicted. What does it mean? See, as Indians, we are genetically predisposed for heart diseases, for diabetes mellitus and asthma. We all know this. What does it mean? That if we take junk food and we go on continuing it abnormally, we will be more prone because we are genetically predisposed for heart diseases and diabetes. Therefore, there is a big boom in the number of cases which is happening in India. Similar thing is there for diabetes, for the substance abuse. So even if we take the first kush or the first cigarette or the first drug, we are already genetically predisposed to get addicted. So this we need to understand very clearly. It is not a casual thing. Number two, the risk factor is some mental illness, maybe what we term as minor to major, whatever it is. If a youth is having some mental illness, then the chances of getting addicted is 70% higher. Similarly, unhappiness in the house, maybe violence, maybe marital discord, witnessing all kinds of stress in the family because there is negativity. This is a very big precipitating factor. Then study, stress, tuitions, all this stress put together, and a broken house will lead to low self esteem. And this makes him go for it. So, the vital factor in all this is the group of friends you have. If someone is linked with drug addiction, someone is indirectly or directly linked with taking that drug, and you happen to be a member of that friends, the group of friends, then with all these kinds of predisposition genetically, having some mental illness and having some broken home problem in your house, stress of studies and tuition going abnormally high, and you have a friend who is coaxing you, come on, give it a try, let us experiment, it will give you relaxation, you will be much more inclined to get into this habit. With this, Girija, the problem is misinformation. It's a very, very important issue, and that's what we are doing today, trying to convey proper information. So, the misinformation, how they convince the youth, the friends, or the one who is indulging in it, he will give you the proof that there has been no death due to cannabis or marijuana or weed. And you search the Google, you will not find any death mentioned directly due to that. So he'll say, see, so many people take alcohol in our society and see the liver cirrhosis and death rate. 1.5 lakh people are dying due to it directly. But show me one death. Is it there with cannabis? No. So I get convinced. Then he will show you the dependence rate. He'll say, check the neck, check Google, and you'll see what is the dependence rate for tobacco. If you start, 32% is the dependence rate for tobacco, any form of tobacco, cigarette, tobacco, anything. What is the dependence rate for alcohol? 15%. And what is the dependence rate for cannabis? 9% only. So which is better? If you really wish, better not to smoke, better not to take alcohol, cannabis is relatively safer. I am already from a broken home. I am already in unhappiness space. I am already having some mental stress, mental predisposition, and genetic predisposition. With such a friend who is convincing me, I get convinced. So I go for experimentation. Now they will always give this drug free. Initially, for 1 month or 2 months, it is sponsored by that person. So there is no stress of money. And then once you take that first thing, you get a kick. It activates your reward system in the brain known as amygdala, and dopamine is increased, secreted. Dopamine is a hormone which is secreted. You Dopamine is secreted for anything which you like in life. For example, you like pizza,
Yeah.
so you feel, and that is a reward. The dopamine will be secreted.
It's a
But
feel
with
good drug,
drug,
right?
it
It's a hormone
secretes
that makes you
10 times
feel good.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is why and how the people get into the habit. But here I like to point out one very crucial thing. The age cutoff largely is 24 years. Till 24 years, the brain behind my forehead, the forebrain, is immature. It is yet to mature completely. It matures after 24. So if I get into this habit, because of the immaturity of the forebrain, the cortex, prefrontal bone, brain, we call it that, and it is immature. This is the part of brain which takes judgment, and because it is immature, you do not judge it correctly. You indulge into it, and therefore, before 24, there is a high risk of going into it. But the same person after 24 will be quite convinced that he is doing wrong. High possibility. So, friends, basically, addiction to drugs, you have to put it in the heart today. The most important message is it is biochemical thing. It is related to your feeling. but it is biochemical. So it is a disease. You are talking of a biochemical changes in your brain, and therefore it has nothing to do with your character, nothing to do with your personality, because everyone has the same biochemistry inside. Even Girija has the same, I also have the same, my son also has the same. So biochemical reactions will be the same. So whether I'm very high sober character or my personality super or ugly doesn't matter. And that is one big myth we have to understand scientifically. I hope your
Yes,
question is
you threw light on something that I did not know. I do not know about people here. One is that genetically we are predisposed to getting addicted. That is something which you pointed out very clearly. Second is stress and lack of emotional bonding at home can cause a lot of issues. Third is the prefrontal cortex, when it is not developed, then the chances of getting addicted are higher. Without knowing that it can be dangerous, the judgment can be poor. Whereas people who get addicted after the age of 24 are aware that it is dangerous, but still they are getting into it. And fourth is that there are 100 ways in which people are able to convince you that this is not so deadly as the other addictions look like. So
true.
people are tempted. And another important point that you also conveyed is that these people first give you free, lure you, and then slowly, once you get addicted, then they make you get into it. Thank you so much. Very useful inputs you gave, and I'm very sure that these are going to be very, you know, illuminative for many of us who are not here, because we want to help the society, but unless we know this, we will not know how to help. Intention
True.
is one thing, but knowledge is very important, right? So what are the physical indicators of substance use? How do we come to know that a person, say for example, if somebody very close to me is taking drugs, there is no smell around that person, may not be what kind of other indicators do I get? I would
Right.
like to know that. Yes.
Girija, see, this is a very crucial question because if the mind does not know, the eyes do not see. So, if I know what are the signs and symptoms of or the indicators for substance abuse, at least I will become aware and be aware there is a possibility that he is taking or she is taking, right? So, what we should, there are some red flag signs, like very important signs, which we, if we see, our antenna should go up. First is red eyes, red short eyes. Normally, it is due to allergy or something like that. But if you are seeing repeatedly red eyes in the youngster, in the youth, whether he or she, if you are seeing that red eyes repeatedly without any allergic reason, it should make you aware and beware that there is a possibility. Is it on this? That question should come to your mind. Then these youngsters, they are jittery in the mornings, but they are very calm in the evening. So you'll find a change of habit that they are become jittery in the mornings and then they calm down in the evening. Then they will constantly have a running nose, which is not related to allergy because of the drugs. Then they will be constantly wetting their lips like this. See this. This way they will do it. So this is known as cotton mouth, which means they are more thirsty and therefore this leads to this. See, these things you have to compare what he was before or she was before and what is happening right now. If these changes are seen, it should make you aware. Then this person will be, if he's more into it, he'll start clenching his teeth or jaw like this. You can see? While he's talking, he'll clench his jaw like this many a times, which he was not doing or she was not doing before. Then you'll find some sore spots around the mouth. It is particularly with marijuana or the weed. Then you'll find sore spots on the body, particularly forearm and all, where they pick their skin. Myth drug is very infamous for this. Then frequent nosebleeds can happen. This is due to snorting of the drugs, right? and they are very hungry, tremendously hungry. They will sleep. The pendulum will go to sleeplessness to sleeping like a log. These are change in the indicators. They are change in habits which are happening, which was not there before. All these things you are seeing, it should up your antennae. Am I dealing with a youngster who is having or who is on drugs? There can be a dark brown circle also, something like that. So these are a few things which indicate. But you have to compare what he was before, whether it is a new thing which has entered. And if it is a new thing, then yes, it may be indicating a substance abuse.
Doctor, you have explained in so much minute detail. These days when people are most of the time or on their cell phone, looking down either at the cell phone or at the television or at the laptop, people are not even looking at one another in the family. So it is very, very important that family as a unit should stay together, at least during meal times, eat together, or if not possible, create some time when you're sitting together and look at each other's face and talk. Most of the time, it is not even looking at the face and talking. So, then how do you recognize the difference in the symptom? Like you said, you should be able to compare. He never had, red eyes. Why is he getting it so often? Or
True,
he never used to have running nose. Why is he having a running nose? You will
true,
be able to observe these symptoms only if, otherwise it will be very easy for a youngster to hide it. He will just probably go inside his room and sit there all the day, and we will not know. Right, many
true,
parents say that my children like to sit in their room, and even if we are watching the same movie, everybody is sitting in their room and watching it.
true.
So, if that is the situation, then it is going to become a monumental, difficult thing for parents to recognize this. So, it is very important for parents to establish that connect with the child, the siblings.
Even the group of friends who are there, they must be aware that this friend of mine has changed with
Exactly,
these
and
kind of
inform the
indicators.
parents where necessary. If they can, not take it in their hands. Okay, he will become all right. I will advise. They have to immediately
True,
take an intervention. Very true. The friend circle is very important. That is why earlier, there used to be the proverb that you are known by the friends that you keep. But now people say no, networking. But what networking? You do not even know a person. Online, you meet somebody and then you keep on talking with that person. Then where you meet and what happens next, we do not know. So
true.
this world has changed a lot. So it is very, very important for us to be aware of all these changes, right? And yet be tuned to the importance of relationships. So you pointed out the symptoms very well. I appeal to the parents, I appeal to friends to make note of this, that if there is a difference that you notice, then immediately take it as a responsibility to inform the parents. Don't say, if friends see it, inform the parents. If siblings see it, inform the parents. Don't think that, okay, I'm, complaining about him. Because you are doing it in the interest of the person, saving his life. That is why we are doing it. So, are there any, this is about the physical changes that you talked about. Now, can you also see emotional or behavioral signs of addiction?
Yeah, there are few behavioral and emotional signs for the drug addiction patients or the youngsters. See, in behavior, they become more secretive. They lie often, and they will laugh at nothing. You'll find that change has happened. Yeah, he's laughing at anything. He's like ekdam lose. He has lost it. बोलते ना, that kind of thing. Then they are very clumsy now. He was very good, tidy. Now he's clumsy. Okay, let go attitude. So not tidy, very hygiene is poor. That behavioral kind of change happens. They become very hyperactive also. They will sleep. They will be in a swing of pendulum between hyperactivity and low activity. Totally introvert also, and sometimes very hyperactive, overconfident, and speaking loudly, laughing at anything, still secretive. That kind of combination. Now this you will immediately understand. It is also seen with adolescents, and therefore it becomes very difficult to pick up. So all this put together with all the knowledge we are sharing should help you to pinpoint or at least pick up or think, is it so? Otherwise, it will not cross your mind also ki it is there in front of you. Similarly, emotionally, they become very withdrawn or they can be very aggressive. They will be happy for nothing. You'll find क्या खुश मिजाज हो गया है, wow, he's so happy go lucky. But that is a light phase of his or her. They are enjoying that and they are happy. But there is a great change in the habits, especially for studies. Whatever she used to study, now you'll find a gross change. Maybe 6 hours she used to study, now she's studying only 1 hour, or she's hardly interested. Then the grades in the colleges go down. They are not bothered much about attendance now. Initially, you'll find 1 year ago, this person was so much strict for attendance. He will never miss a college, but now he's okay with it. Then there is total loss in whatever sports he was pursuing, loss in whatever hobby he was pursuing. See, all these changes have started happening, and one very vital thing to catch it, they'll start thinking philosophically. So today, this generation likes Sadguru. Sadguru, any youngster talking to you about Sadguru and liking it tremendously, largely you need to become aware and beware. Why is or she suddenly interested? See, this is not an age for Sadguru. Largely, I'm saying largely. Out of 194 will never bother about it because this is age for the opposite sex. This is not for Sadguru. So they are into philosophy and they are continuously into it. They always will be like trying to talk about it, going into those trances. That can be a good clue. And these are the emotional signs which jumble up. You have to pick up. We have to be very alert for that.
Very good pointers, that how the person has been behaving earlier and how the changes have been, especially difference in the activities that they have been taking up, like sports or whatever. But then also, like, the grades will show. People may say that, okay, I'm sitting in my room and studying. So we will not even sometimes come to know the number of hours of studies, how much they were before and how they have reduced. Sometimes it will not be possible for us, but the grades will tell us. So we need to follow up with the grades. Sometimes what happens when students are past adolescents in colleges, in many colleges, they do not even get reports. So it is important to keep a rapport with the teachers, find out whether the child is attending the class, how they are doing in the class, are they participative? Probably that also could help, right? Yeah. So, doctor, when people start taking addictive substances, right? How long does it take for the symptoms of the addiction to show? That is, when does it become evident that the person could be a drug addict to observant eyes?
See, scientifically, medically, there is no pinpointed time period. Even if you take individual drugs, so like marijuana, it will take so much time. No, it is not so. But largely, you can remember a thumb rule. That is 21 by 90 rule. 21 by 90. 21. What is 21? It usually takes 21 days to create a habit. And what is 90? It takes usually 90 days to make that habit a lifestyle. So on an average, you'll find the signs and symptoms take 21 days onwards to 3 months. On an average, 60-65 days. On an average, 60-65 days. So that is the. So now again, there is one factor. If the risk factors are there with you, then the symptoms and the time taken will be early or shorter. Your
Yes.
signs and symptoms will be seen much earlier because the predisposing factors are already in
Right.
action.
Yeah. You mean if the genetic this the component is more, then it can show earlier, you mean to say,
True, true.
right? Yeah. Audiences, if anybody has questions, you can put in, and soon we will share also the link to for you to join. So, is there a difference in the physical symptoms as per the different drugs people are addicted to? For example, somebody could be taking cocaine, somebody could be taking
All right.
marijuana or opioids or different kinds of drugs. So, can an ordinary person tell the difference, or should we have to go to a doctor or a medical examination? Then only we'll come to know what he's addicted to. Because
No, it
people
is
are
very
not
difficult.
going to
It is
doctors. They think,
very, yeah, it is very difficult for anyone.
okay,
These particular things are because of this particular drug, because there is a great overlap. So whatever behavioral changes, emotional changes, physical changes we have discussed, these things will overlap with many drugs. All right, but yes, largely few things or few pointers I can tell you. See, largely na the drugs they are divided into three parts, three kinds. The first kind is the hallucinogens, which is the most common. Most 99% of the people who enter drug addiction or drug habit, they start with the cannabis, marijuana, or they start what we call it weed, gross, dope. They call it pot, ganja, then hashish, all these things. This is the same class.
so many
It
names
is
for the
very,
same drug.
so many names are there for this.
Okay.
Each and every drug has at least 50 names, nicknames.
Oh God. Okay.
I'll tell you for because we are talking about nicknames. See, one important clue I'll give you. Now, methadone, that drug is known in slang language as mew mew. So,
Okay.
mew mew. The cat's mew mew mew
Oh,
mew. All
okay.
right, very cute.
Okay. Oh.
Now, see, one of the patient's son, they used to talk in this code language. Hi, buddy. Meow meow. Matlab, that was a signal being sent.
Yeah.
Is it ready?
Okay.
And the parents used to laugh. Oh my, they are such hilarious group, na? The friends group is so hilarious. They are all talking in animal languages. Mew mew, wow wow. But the whole coded language used to go. So if I know that mew mew is for methadone, at
Yeah.
least I will be alert. ये mew
Yeah.
mew why it is happening by. See, it is very small thing, but it can like so these slangs, common ones, should be known. All right.
Absolutely.
So hallucinogens like cannabis, marijuana, hashish, and all this, they have a red short eyes, which I discussed already. That is very prominent with this. Now there is one more hallucinogen which is LSD. You must have heard about it. It's very lethal and very potent drug. LSD, acid
Yes.
बोलते हैं उसको. They call
Yes.
it acid.
Okay.
And in that also the red short eyes can happen. They go on a trip, psychedelic trip, and they can enter psychosis also, like major violent matter with your brain.
Oh God.
But the center of the eye, which is dark, it is known as pupil, the dark central part of the eye.
Yeah.
That thing will be very large,
Dilated. Dilated. Yeah.
enlarged. But of course, a common man or father, mother, or a group people cannot identify it.
Okay.
So this is regarding hallucinogens. One class of drug. Second and third class is kind of drug is uppers and lowers. Now uppers may most important is cocaine. So once they are in habit with cannabis like grass or weed, they graduate to cocaine. So
Okay.
cannabis is also therefore known as gateway drug. It is a gate to the next drug.
Okay.
Cannabis you can buy it in 10 rupees
Oh.
and it is available at the pan shop outside your complex. So that is the way they start, and there is no financial burden. Once they are in a good tune with it, the next thing will be cross the gateway drug to cocaine, ecstasy, MDMA, methamphetamine, and all this will lead to one major prominent symptom: overconfidence. Ah, suddenly this timid boy now is talking big. He's talking like a mature personality, right? Suddenly that big, and we appreciate, wow, my son, my daughter has
Become you.
dramatically improved. But he's already on a cocaine trip. And then they show tendency for violence. They start having nosebleeds. With cocaine, nosebleeds are because it is snorted. Then clenching of the teeth, jaw, very common with that. And this kind of thing. So, as a health issue, their pupils will be again very dilated. But you cannot pick that thing up.
Yeah.
Regarding the downers, the third kind, heroin,
Mm,
brown sugar, what they call, or a mandrex,
mm.
their pupil will be very pinpointed. Hardly the black part will be very 1 millimeter only. The central black part.
Okay.
Of course, you cannot pick that up. It is a medical thing. But these downers addicts, they are abnormally tolerant to cold. So they will tolerate even 18 degrees AC.
Oh, okay.
That's one indicator. They are very,
Okay.
very sleepy. They sleep like a log. And they have many, many times itching sensations over the skin. That is because of the drug.
Okay.
Ah. So few things, baki rest of the things always overlap.
Right.
Right. But a few
So,
things you can, it doesn't help much, but yes, for the
yeah, but
sake of understanding, to yes.
what kind of tests are available? Say, if I doubt that somebody is having, uh, somebody may be a drug addict, and I
Huh.
persuade him to go and do the test. How expensive are the tests? How much time does it take?
No, see, you cannot go do like this kick directly. You ask for test.
Hmm,
It is usually a urine test,
hmm,
and you need to have a good sample.
hmm.
You have to collect the sample. The very fact you will do this will make him understand something is going wrong. So he'll
Okay.
not cooperate, or she will not cooperate. So
Yeah.
you are not supposed to do that. In the
Hmm.
sense, go through the proper channel or the protocol.
Okay. So
So
what
if
is the
you're sorry,
so what is the protocol?
protocol is like what I mean ki you if you suspect,
Hmm.
there are three things which you have to remember. First, it is a disease.
Yes.
It is not a crime. It is a crime, but it is a disease. Just
Yes.
like hypertension, diabetes. Very, very important for us to understand. What
Yeah.
do you do with a patient with a disease?
We
Do you
take him
judge
to
him?
doctor.
Do you
We don't
vilify
judge him.
him?
We are,
Do
yeah.
you like curse him? No.
We're kind with him. Yeah.
You are soft with him.
Correct.
है ना? So
Yes.
that approach itself has to start with you.
Right.
Forget about the victim. क्या करना है? First, what should I do? That much I have to. And then you have to understand blood pressure again comes shoots up. Relapse rate is high, 50%, 60%. Diabetes, even if you control, again goes up in between.
Right.
Similarly, there is a relapse rate with drugs. Because it is a disease, it is a relapse. Now,
Yes.
once I know this, my whole mode of approach is changed. I am dealing with a person who is having a disease which can relapse. See, it makes a hell of a difference. Hai na? Now, suddenly I am soft with him. And what happens with a person with a disease? What is your approach? Three things. You have faith, you have
Yeah.
hope, and you approach with love.
Mm. Faith,
Faith,
hope, and
hope,
love.
and love.
Faith, hope, and love.
The same
Absolutely.
thing you need for a drug person.
Yes.
That mindset. First, you fix your mind for this because it is a biochemical thing. It has nothing to do with personality. Again and again, I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with the character, with the intelligence of the boy or girl. Good,
Absolutely.
bad, or ugly doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is this. So, faith, hope, and love. With that kind of approach that I'm dealing with a diseased person, my
Yeah.
first job is I read up all the things about cannabis and everything,
Hmm.
get to know so that I will be at par with him to discuss. That he'll shut me off. You don't know anything. Why you are discussing with me? Immediately you are out.
Yes.
So you need to be well informed first. Then only they will allow you to at least talk to them. That you are a bloody, you are very outcast kind. You don't know anything. I know about it, and it is good.
Yeah.
And you just don't have the knowledge also. So how he will allow you to talk to him?
Absolutely.
So that is very, very important. And then first, whenever you suspect, talk directly. Sit with him or her, talk. Okay, I suspect it. This is it, and I want to help you. I am not judging you. I am not vilifying you. I am not criticizing you. I know it is a disease. I know it has a relapse. I know it needs three things: faith, hope, and love. A friend who, father who, mother who, so that is the best I can give. immediately I should be able to win his confidence. Oh, they are talking something very nice, not the typical reaction of an Indian parent. That is what they think. Huh? And
Absolutely.
then once you start talking, you ask them, how can I help you?
Yes. Okay.
Tell me, क्या problem है? चलो, let us solve it, boss.
But
And then start engaging him with other activities.
will
Yeah.
they not be in denial mode first when
Of
you
course,
tell them?
totally. That is what I. If you approach to them in a very typical way of panic, you, my son, my daughter, we have such a big name, and what have you done? When blah blah blah, you had it. They are already away from you. They are totally away from you
Okay.
because you have been judgmental. You are criticizing them. You are vilifying them.
Right.
What is
Exactly.
needed?
So faith, hope, and
I
love. Yes.
understand. I understand you are taking drugs.
Huh. Okay.
I am with you.
Mm.
There has to be a reason
Yeah.
because I know it is a disease. It is a biochemical thing. It is related to feelings, and it is biochemical thing. So I am with you. Can you tell me why? What is the reason? What made you go for it? Slowly become a friend. Become a friend. No judgment. Friendship में there is never a judgment. है ना? Friendship में there is no criticizing. Hey, चलता
Yeah.
है. देख लेंगे. And then slowly, once I know the things, I can talk to him only if I have knowledge. वो बोलेगा, do you know anything? Yes, I can see your red eyes. Therefore, I suspect. Suddenly, he'll realize, oh, he's talking sense. Because you
Okay.
are informed, now he will feel that you are at par with him. So he'll try to convince you, you also join me. Why? Because it is such a nice thing. I can prove you, boss, the dependency rate is only 9%.
Hmm.
Alcohol is having double. Tobacco is
They'll
having
try to
triple.
convince you, कुछ नहीं होगा मुझे. I will be
And
fine.
I'm not trying to die with cannabis. I know that I can give you proof.
Yeah.
So
And
why
it
you
is
are bothered? Come on.
all my
Even
choice.
you
It's
can
not
have
like
one
it's
puff.
compulsory, right? They will say it's not an addict. It's my choice. I'm
Bilkul.
doing it out of
So
my
the
own choice.
whole approach has to be as if you are going for a diseased person
Hmm.
and engage that person with some activities where they are his hobbies, whatever.
Hmm.
Let the group. This is the first step, and then
Right.
second step is to intervene. Tell the parent.
Hmm.
If you are a friend in the group who is knowing this, it is your duty to tell the parent. They will not listen to you. They will kick you out. They will
Right.
deny you
Yeah.
completely. Again go. Again go. He's your friend. She's your friend. You cannot discard that person.
Correct.
You know they will push you out, but you will push in. You will push in. You will push in. That
Yes.
is the job of, that is the duty of a friendship.
Yeah.
Make
That's
that friend, sit with him, approach what we discussed just now, and mane, let him know very clearly we are there to help you out, but this is unacceptable to the group.
exactly.
This is unacceptable. You have to be very
You're
clear.
harming your own interest. So
Yes,
we have
we are
got
not
we came
accepting
for
it,
you.
but
We
we are
came.
totally 100% ready to help you out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As it has to be very clear. So you work out a contract with that victim.
Correct. But if
Chalo,
the
five
friends
hours will be
group
together,
themselves are
5 hours will not do anything, as so on and so.
if the friends groups themselves are all addicted, then they try
Yes.
to hide each other, they try to protect each other, and then there is nobody bringing it to the parents, right? So parents have to be very aware, and the hints that you have given are very helpful. And because today young youth, like you said, it's available everywhere, even for 10 rupees, it is the chances are very high. So parents have to be alert. Now there are some questions that are coming from the audiences.
Yes.
We have now around 683 people watching us, and a lot of good comments are coming in, and I'm just showing here the questions first. So
Yeah.
Avinash Khane, he's from Mauritius. He has asked, have you ever noticed any improvement in a binge drug addict?
Binge drug addict.
Binge drug addict, yeah, somebody who has been binging on it. Has
Yes.
you Have you
See,
noticed that?
initially they were
What is the instance he has asked?
they improved, no question about it. But the road is long and narrow.
Hmm.
So patience and perseverance pays. Hope, faith, and love works. No question about it. Whether it is binge or whether it is gradual, these three factors. If the approach is wrong, even if it is gradual, it will not work. So take help. It will take time, but positive results are really there. It takes time, and time always changes. What looks very dark today, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Always it is. It is
So
the
we have
rule
to
of the
hope,
universe.
we have to keep faith, and we have to be with the person.
Our
There
approach should be perfect. Forget the victim for the time being. Our approach should be correct, perfect.
Hmm.
We should be fully informed. We should know it is a disease, and our approach should be the trident of faith, love, and hope.
Yes.
Become a friend. Go into his heart, her heart, and what led to it, come up with it. Don't be judgmental. Whether it is binge, whether it is simple, yes, binge takes time, no question, but always it is positive.
Yeah. The next question comes from Manish Joshi. Please suggest ways to deal with children affected by drugs or being suspected of consuming drugs. I think you answered this question right now
Yeah.
towards the end. How we
बस
need to.
मनीष इसमें you need to add only one thing. Once you go through that talking thing and intervening thing, take help. Always we should take help. Go to the proper psychologist, psychiatrist, understand. But before that, whatever we have discussed, we should the home should be prepared in that.
Yes.
Then yes, you
No
must
one
take
should talk to the person as though he has committed a crime. People should understand that, okay, he's got into a habit, and all of us have to be there together to come out of it. That's it. So, something very important. Uh, there is another question, but again, this also you have answered. If there is anything that you would like to add here, once there is a strong evidence likelihood that a young adult is consuming drugs, there is evidence already. Okay, what should the parents do? How to handle? So you answered this. How we should
Yeah,
how
one point I like to add in this, Girija,
yes,
and
yes,
that is whatever is the atmosphere in the house, in the society, in the place where you are living, you need to change that environment. That is very, very compulsory. So,
absolutely.
whatever we have discussed in addition,
Mm,
on a war footing, see that you change that atmosphere. How that depends on that particular context, but
correct.
you may need to change the area also and the house also.
Oh, okay.
You need to
Yes.
change the whole atmosphere completely.
Do you
But
mean to
again, it
say
will
that
not work
around
if
the
your
house?
approach is not proper, right?
So the opportunity for getting drugs is more here, so you want to move him out of the environment, or because it is
That has to be
psychologically
there. That
achieved
has to be there.
for that reason.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay. I
And
think,
always compare this with the same thing. If you have diabetes, if you have hypertension,
huh,
will you not change the atmosphere which caused that?
right.
So, what is the atmosphere for blood pressure? High blood pressure, junk food, salt, trans
Yeah,
fat, so on and so forth. You will change that atmosphere. Then you will control the drugs, hypertension.
correct.
Similarly, for diabetes, you'll change the food products, the atmosphere. So, similarly, for drugs, what is the atmosphere? The environment, house, the friends, the
The
society where
schools,
you are staying.
sometimes a school and college also, then you may have to change, right?
If it is the source, you have to change it.
Change. Or if it is where they are going to, probably meet somebody in the gym and there it happens, then you'll have to change the gym.
So,
So
if it
you
is a group of friends who are indulging in that, you need to see that they are out.
not in touch with them anymore.
Not
Absolutely.
easy, huh? It's not 1 day job, 1 hour job.
It is very tough. It is very tough. Convincing the children to drop out of a friend circle is very tough. Very tough.
So if you are approaching Girija as a criticizer and judgmental,
Mm,
and then you are telling him or her to change the group, they will never listen to you. Why they should listen?
absolutely. Yeah,
So
exactly.
become a friend first. Approach should be that. Then you can convince slowly, slowly. He's not good. Let's get out.
I know. So Lenata Finity asks, in fact saying that she's giving a suggestion like rehab and family should give the concerned drug or alcoholic full support and never push them to the edge.
True.
So she has
We
given
have
that.
already discussed. Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
And here is some Raki. He has been completely all the time putting lot of notes of appreciation. And he has asked this question. I have met yogis who claim that some yogic kriya gives you bigger kick than psychedelic drugs for longer duration. Is this scientifically proven? But why do you want that?
Yogic kriyas, see, once you, instead of yogic kriyas, I tell it is meditation. deep meditation, where if you are like well acclimatized with the meditative state, then you will never need the drug.
Exactly.
The drug, you will yourself find it is very inferior. So
Absolutely.
any drug victim, if he has a tendency for meditation
Huh.
or spirituality,
Okay.
you are much better. You have a much better chance that he can come out.
Wonderful.
So don't miss that.
Right.
Then create a whole atmosphere of meditation, spirituality. Go there, go here, trips to and tours and pilgrimages, whatever is the kind of context, and accordingly do it. It helps a tremendous. So meditative state gives a. It is not a kick, but it is that state itself which makes you realize that these things are very inferior, the drugs.
Absolutely.
And yes, some yogic kriyas do, but again, it is a subjective kind of drug.
Correct. And
This
you
is
should.
objective drug we are taking. This is a mental subjective drug. It will
Another
last only
important
for
thing
some
is
time.
those yogic kriyas are not done for the sake of getting the kick. That may be a byproduct, but you are not doing the yogic kriya in order to get the kick.
Yes.
There are higher.
Yogic Kriya usually is a siddha. It is a
Yes,
siddhi, and they are called siddhas. And
correct.
they do it for the benefit of the mankind. But if the ego trip continues with them, with this achievement, then yes, what Rocky is saying is right. Then scientifically proven, yes, meditation has been scientifically proven with various waves and all those kinds of things. We cannot discuss it right now, but
Yes,
anytime. So
absolutely.
it gives you a uniform, alert, sweeter,
State,
so-called kick,
mental state. Yes, you are in the highest zone, but
and
at the
there
same
you
time,
yourself will know
yeah,
that the drugs are inferior. Drugs से अच्छा तो meditation anytime is better. So
lovely,
anyone who is inclined for this, a victim, don't miss that opportunity.
wonderful, wonderful. Very good question. Now, and the answer, of course, Dr. Kasat, what else can we expect from you? Now, there is this question. Is there a legal responsibility for the doctor to inform police whenever he comes to know that somebody is a drug addict?
No.
No. Okay. So he can handle it unless the
Yeah.
person has done a
Do it
crime.
subjectively, because once you do that, again you will be into a mess. Uh, unless you go to the level where he or she is getting admitted in a rehabilitation center,
Yes.
then automatically the protocol itself will come into play.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. But it is very difficult to convince them to go to a rehabilitation center. That is the issue. So
It is
once,
on how you approach, become a
yes,
friend of that victim.
yes,
Normally, we exactly do the opposite.
right. Now, here is this question. Dr. Siddharth Deshi has asked, as a doctor, if you find youngsters might be consuming drugs, then do you directly inform the parents? Talk to the parents.
Siddharth, we have already discussed that. First, talk to the victim, to the person, the group of friends. First, they will get informed, they will know that knowledge so that they can sit with him at his level or her level. Talk to them, become a friend with the criteria of not criticizing, not being judgmental, not vilifying. That is step number one. Step number two, be, ask the issues, try to solve it, and simultaneously you must inform the parent. They will also react violently, panicky. Handle this with full understanding that this will happen. So you must talk. There is no question about it.
Yes. Wonderful. So Leonardo Finetti has given this comment. The most important for all parents of young kids is first and foremost keep an eye on the daily habits and change of behavior and check if they are not isolating themselves. So this is
See,
a very
adolescence isolation does happen, है ना? It is
yes,
seen. So it is a very overlapping thing. So
absolutely
whatever signs and symptoms we have discussed,
yes,
just by knowing that today, if you know that, you should write it down. Actually, you tend to forget.
yeah,
And once you write it down repeatedly, you read it, then your brain is alert. So
yes,
anything of that kind is seen in the house, at least you will not miss it. At least you will question it. At least you will suspect it, and that makes a huge difference.
yeah. There is Mridula who says that it is a privilege to listen to Dr. Lucky. Kasat.
Thank you,
So
Mrudula.
a lot of people have commented that this is good information. Jagdish Parak has written, and Akash Virji is always here for any program, and he has also written good comments. And then here is Supriya, Dr. Supriya Chincholkar, truly good, grave going Dr. Lucky. So I find a lot of good comments like this coming in.
Thank you.
Of
Thank you
course,
so
I
much.
want to thank Varun Kapur for giving us this platform, because
Thank you.
this was for a long time in my mind that we should talk about addiction prevention. And when he gave me the opportunity, I jumped at it. And Rotary Club of Addiction Prevention, uh, Rotarian uh, Gada, who is already there here, and Siddesh Udeshi, Dr. Siddesh Udeshi, both of them have been instrumental. And along with that, Rotary Club of Mumbai Elite, both of us have coordinated in doing this program. Dr. Neelam Gada is already here. She has also written all the best, and she has been listening to us. So,
Thank you.
Varun Kapoor, thanks a lot for giving us this platform, because already, people here are very, very connected with topics for the youth and Swachh Bharat. We want a drug free society. We want to do our bit. So it is a huge society, it's a huge fan following that he has got. So I'm very sure that we will be able to do a lot with this group. Uh, I would like to just present a poem that I read before we close this. This was posted by Duran Rextra, and he has not quoted who is the poet, but it is as though drugs is writing that poem. Drugs
Acha.
itself is writing that poem. So it is so very touching. I destroy homes, tear families apart, take your children. That is just the start. I'm more costly than diamonds, more costly than gold. The sorrow I bring is a sight to behold. And if you need me, remember I'm easily found. I live all around you in schools and in town. I live with the rich. I live with the poor. I live down the street, maybe next door. My power is awesome. Try me, you will see. But if you do, you may never break free. Just try me once. I might let you go. But try me twice, and I'll own your soul. When I possess you, you will steal and you will lie. You will do whatever you have to do just to get the high. The crimes you'll commit, you may knock out your charms, worth the pleasure you'll feel in your arms. You'll lie to your mother, you'll steal from your dad. When you see their tears, you should feel sad, but you'll forget your morals and how you were raised. I'll be your conscience and I'll teach you my ways. I take kids from parents and parents from kids. I turn people from God and separate from friends. I take everything from you, your looks and your pride. I'll be with you always, right by your side. You'll give up everything, your family, your home, your friends, your money. Then you'll be alone. I'll take and I'll take till you have nothing more to give. When I'm finished with you, you'll be lucky to live. If you try me, be warned. This is no game. If given the chance, I'll drive you insane. I'll ravish your body. I'll control your mind. I'll own you completely. Your soul will be mine. The nightmares I'll give you, while lying in bed. The voices you'll hear from inside your head. The sweats, the shakes, the vision you'll see. I want you to know these are all gifts from me. But then it's too late, and you'll know in your heart that you are mine and we shall not part. You'll regret that you tried me. They always do. But you came to me, not I to you. You knew this would happen. You knew this would happen. Many times you were told, but you challenged my power and chose to be bold. You could have said no and just walked away. If you could live that day over, now what would you say? I'd be your master. You will be my slave. I'll even go with you when you go to your grave. Now that you've met me, what will you do? Will you try me or not? It's all up to you. I can bring you more misery than words can tell. Come take my hand. Let me lead you to hell. Signed, Drugs. So I request everybody to remember this and stay away from drugs. And let us be support system for each other and the beacon light that you showed. Hope, faith, love. These three words are the key words that I'm taking from you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kasat. Thank you, friends, for watching. Thank you, Varun, for giving us this channel. And thank you, Rotary Club of Mumbai Addiction, for doing a great job, addiction prevention, and also Rotary Club of Mumbai Elite for coming together for doing this great job. Leonora, yes, I've been very concerned for our kids in India. Is that the government should be highlighting this grave issue as one of their important agendas, as it is very difficult for many families to cope. Government is doing its bit. I can see Varun here. I request Varun to please join on stage, please. Yes.
Hello,
Thank you
Dr.
so much for coming. I was wondering whether you'll find the time.
No. I had to, and I was listening for the last 15, 20 minutes. I was heads down listening. So, first of all, thank you, Girijaji. You never have to say this again. And I'm going to say it loud and clear. I've said it multiple times. This is your platform. You never have to ask. आपने जब जो जैसा करना है, you bring up such important topics. And this particular topic itself is so important for many reasons. It's just not for our the current generation but also for future generations. It is really बहुत कोई हिंदी में बात करने को कह रहा है, मैं हिंदी में भी करूंगा. हिंदी लैंग्वेज विल अट्रैक्ट. यस डॉक्टर हर्षद देशी जी, हम हिंदी में भी बात करेंगे. तो ये बहुत जरूरी टॉपिक है, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है जो हम सब अपने यंगर जनरेशन के साथ बैठ के भी बच्चों को, मैं तो कहूंगा आई वुड एनकरेज ऑल द पेरेंट्स कि आप बैठे सुने दिखाएं कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट चैलेंजेस, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट रिस्क्स एंड हाउ टू हैंडल देम. मैं भी सुन के, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी एज अ पेरेंट of young kids. They are very young right now, but before things can change, and it is very important कि ऐसे topics को. And Dr. Lucky, I mean, so impressed. मैं initial में भी था, I heard your introduction. Hats off to you. Hats off to what you've been doing. आपकी services are really well appreciated, I'm sure, in India. And now with this opportunity that जो आपने मुझे दी है, इस platform को दी है through गिरिजा जी, I think it's a very humbling experience to listen, and I would encourage more of such topics, more of such discussions to happen. And that's why we created this platform, जहाँ पर हर important topic, हर important चीज के बारे में openly, candidly, the way you answered some of the questions, really very helpful. You didn't mince any words. You did not hold off on anything. और जैसे इस टॉपिक से रिलेटेड एक स्टिग्मा अटैच्ड है, बहुत सारे लोग इसके वजह से और again, not going into any of my personal experiences with some friends and all, but उन families को किस तरह से टारगेट किया जाता है, या उन families को कैसे blame कर दिया जाता है, कैसे उनको isolate कर दिया जाता है, that they get more deeper into this exactly. I mean, so this is really very welcoming to see you talking about it. And Girija ji, thank you for this opportunity. Actually, it should be me thanking you rather than you thanking any of us. So once again, thank you, Dr. Lucky, and really love hearing you today on the session.
Thank you so much, Varun, and it was nice to connect to you, to see you at least.
My pleasure and my honor, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Girija. Very well conducted by you as
Thank
an
you.
expert moderator. No question about it.
Thank you so much. And Varun, would you like to take any questions? If anybody wants to come online, do you want to talk? Call people? I don't think anybody has expressed
Sorry,
it.
I was on mute. So it all depends, right? I mean, all on doctor's time. But if anybody wants to come in, of course you
There is
can.
one question here. Is
Sure.
gym proteins are good? A lot of people pass away confusing protein powder. Though this is not connected to drugs, but if Dr. Kasat can throw light on this.
Yeah. See, gym protein, there are two kinds. First is the artificial one, which comes with lots of osmotic particles in it. So that will damage your kidney. So you should be very clear that gym protein, the protein boxes which come and which the gym people take. So it should be a healthy one. So they are usually expensive. So if you buy on an online website and all that, it will be all a mix of adulterated. We can say adulterated, and it puts load on your kidneys. And if you go on taking, then definitely you'll end up with a chronic kidney failure kind of problem. So not advised definitely. If you can avoid the natural things, how the film Dangal showed, the natural things which add to your proteins will be the best.
Yes. So, like I also hear that in certain gyms, they may add addictive substances and we don't even come to know about it. So, better don't take from unknown sources. When it comes open to you, you have to be careful. When it is made not specifically for certain groups, we have to be careful. I think Raki has joined, probably question.
Hello, everybody. Very
Hello.
good session. I mean, kudos to Girija ma'am and Lucky sir. I've been encouraging you guys in the comment section also.
Yes.
I'll keep it brief, Girija ma'am. So, Lucky sir, I think these drugs, be it alcohol or any kind of a drug, it has, I mean, the chemically how it reacts, it secretes dopamine, right? If I am not wrong. So this dopamine secretion is also, I mean, it's also secreted by pornography. So I'm diverting a little bit towards the psychological impacts of other addictions as well. So because of pornography, a lot of teenagers are into, they get sexually very active, and you have a lot of experts online who claim that, oh, it is okay to masturbate, or is it okay to have safe sex. So I want to understand, I mean, is it emanating, is it coming out of pornography only? How do you see it, and what's your advice to the youth, particularly
And you
in
are
this
talking
regard?
regarding dopamine or regarding pornography
Yeah, so pornography and dopamine linkage basically.
combined. All right.
So, it's a
So
vicious
see,
circle.
it is out of the context today, but yet shortly, briefly, pornography gives you excellent hope. And to be very blunt and very frank with you, only once you ejaculate, once you had your orgasm, so-called orgasm, that is the dopamine kick you get. Otherwise, it is always a low. That can be summed up in this way. So, dopamine basically is a reward system, and in pornography, there is no reward you're getting. It is all fantasy, right? If you're getting an actual reward in that way, then it is a different story altogether. But it is not. So it is a temporary hike, spike, and rest of the times it is all depressive. A guilt, major guilt comes. So Rocky, but I think that sums up the answer, at least particularly for this session.
Yeah.
Thank you. There is a question here. How many days will it take a person to recover from addiction?
Oh, that you cannot judge. And there is no categorical answer here. It depends on the type of person, the personality, what kind of drug he's taking, how long he's taking, how many times he has stopped and tried and stopped and tried. So many factors together. What is his willingness to come out, and
Exactly.
what is the status of the home members of the father, mother, friends? Are they judgmental? Are they criticizing? Or are they really with him as a friend?
Yes.
So these
The
things put
willpower on the
together.
part of the addict and the willpower of the family to stay with the person and be
But I
loving
can
and
tell you one thing here: if that victim is ready to go to a rehab center,
huh.
half of your job is done.
Excellent. Yes,
He should or she should be ready.
absolutely.
That's
But the whole approach to reach there, I am ready to go. I
Yes,
feel I should go.
yes,
You have won the battle. because now this approach will come only once that victim finds you people as friends. Again
Supportive.
and again, the whole topic is coming to the approach. Basically, the approach.
Exactly. The moment you begin to think that if I go to a rehab center, then it will be looked down upon. People are going to look at me as an addict, and the entire people I'm going to be, there is, I'm going to be slotted into some category, and people are going to look down upon me. Then people will avoid doing that. So,
So it
like you
is
said, very
totally how
positive.
you approach. You treat it as a disease, how you approach a cancer patient, how you approach a hypertension patient.
Right.
That kind of faith, love, and hope.
Rehab center is a treatment center, like anything. Yeah.
Cancer, see, diabetes, you control it, then again it shoots up sometimes.
Right.
Still, you are having faith, love, and hope. So
Absolutely.
that kind of approach has to be.
Yes. Yes. So, thank you
Sounds
for a very wonderful session. You clarified all the doubts, and definitely it was a pleasure listening to you. And
Same here.
always working. He talks on innumerable topics. He'll go on a hike and he'll come back with management lessons exactly from his experiences. So it has been wonderful to listen to him talk to us.
yes.
Thank you so much.
So once again, thank you so much for
Thank you,
gracing
Varun.
this platform as well, Dr. Lucky, and look forward to having you again multiple times.
Yes,
And ये topics बहुत ज़रूरी हैं, जैसे मैं पहले भी बोला, और I continuously gonna talk about it. But thank you for this opportunity.
No,
thank
I
you so
don't
much.
think we have to close with this. There is a comment once an addict, always an addict. No, he said very clearly hope, faith, love. So if
No,
we
this
have
is
this
absolutely
approach,
a wrong
it will
statement.
not come. Yes,
Once an addict, always an addict. Yes, for the time being. But once he decides, when the things are rehabilitated well, there are so many examples who have come out. So
Let
many.
me, not to be offended or
One of the
anything,
worst
Asiya.
examples is Sanjay, that actor. Yeah,
yes.
Sanjay
That,
Dutt.
yeah, yeah. So let me
So
let
he was
me
the
give it a,
king. He has
sorry.
taken around 30 plus drugs, varieties
Yeah,
of drugs.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
Still,
give it a little different spin, Doctor. To Asiya Swami. Once an addict, always an addict. Yes, become addicted. Being addicted to life is an addiction you definitely should have. So yes, once addicted to life, addicted forever, for till the end of your life. So अगर
Absolutely.
उस पे addiction है, तो be addicted to your life. That's more important than any of these drugs. And absolutely, like Doctor said,
Then you will come
like
out of any other addiction if you are addicted to
exactly.
life. Absolutely. Absolutely. You
All
said
right,
it. Yes. Yes. So thank you
perfect.
so much. On that note,
Thank
we'll
you.
close the session
thank you.
today. Love you all. And of course, love you, Varun. Thanks a
Happy
lot.
weekend to you
Take care.
and happy
Have a
Navratri
good
to each
weekend,
and everyone.
happy
Happy
Navratri,
Navratri
everyone.
to everybody.
Jai Mata Di.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wish really a Swachh Bharat for all of us. Thank you.